Have you ever met someone who looks like a successful adult on the outside, yet reacts to the smallest disappointment like a child? They may avoid responsibility, blame everyone else for their problems, or completely shut down whenever life becomes difficult. At first glance, it seems confusing. After all, growing older should naturally make us wiser, right? Surprisingly, psychology suggests that age and emotional maturity are not the same thing. A person can spend decades growing physically while remaining emotionally trapped in an earlier stage of life. This isn't always about being selfish or immature by choice. Sometimes emotional growth quietly stops because of experiences that happened years ago, experiences that shaped the way the brain learned to deal with fear, rejection, stress, and relationships. In today's video, we'll explore the hidden psychology behind emotional immaturity, why some people never seem to emotionally grow up, and most importantly, whether real change is actually possible. By the end of this video, you may recognize these patterns not only in others, but perhaps even in yourself. Emotional age versus physical age. Most people assume that maturity comes automatically with age, but psychology tells a very different story. Your body follows a biological clock. It grows whether you're ready or not. Your emotional world, however, develops through experience, learning, self-reflection, and healthy relationships. Imagine two people who are both 30 years old. One calmly handles criticism, accepts responsibility, and communicates honestly during conflict. The other becomes defensive, throws blame at others, or disappears whenever life becomes uncomfortable. They share the same physical age, but emotionally they may be worlds apart. Emotional maturity isn't about never feeling hurt. It's about learning how to respond to difficult emotions without letting them control your actions. Every challenge in life gives us a choice, either grow from it or avoid it. When avoidance becomes a lifelong habit, emotional development can quietly slow down, leaving the person stuck in old emotional patterns that no longer serve them. The invisible prison, one of the most fascinating ideas in psychology, is that many adults are not living in the present. They're reacting to emotional memories from the past. A small disagreement may feel like rejection. Constructive feedback may feel like personal failure. Being ignored for a few hours may trigger overwhelming anxiety. Why? Because the emotional brain often connects today's situations with yesterday's wounds. Without realizing it, people begin protecting themselves using habits they learned years ago, avoiding difficult conversations, becoming overly angry, withdrawing emotionally, or expecting others to solve their problems. These behaviors may have once helped them survive emotionally, but in adulthood, the same patterns can become invisible prisons. The good news is that emotional maturity isn't something you're simply born with. It is a skill that can be learned, strengthened, and developed at any stage of life. And in the next part, we'll uncover the childhood experiences and psychological patterns that silently prevent many people from ever reaching that emotional growth. Where emotional immaturity begins. Have you ever wondered why two people can experience similar hardships, yet grow into completely different adults? The answer often lies not in what happened, but in how those experiences were processed. During childhood, our brains are constantly learning one important lesson. Is the world a safe place? And am I safe in it? When children grow up in an environment where emotions are ignored, criticized, or punished, they often learn to hide what they truly feel. Instead of saying, "I'm scared," they pretend to be angry. Instead of asking for comfort, they withdraw into silence. These emotional survival strategies may protect a child in the moment, but they don't disappear with age. Years later, the same child may become an adult who struggles to trust others, avoids vulnerability, or reacts emotionally without understanding why. It's important to remember that emotional immaturity is not always the result of bad parenting. Sometimes it develops because of loss, bullying, family conflict, unrealistic expectations, or other difficult life experiences. The past doesn't always control us, but it often teaches us habits that remain until we consciously choose to change them. The fear of responsibility. One of the clearest signs of emotional immaturity is the constant desire to escape responsibility. Responsibility means making decisions, accepting mistakes, and living with the consequences of our choices. For emotionally immature people, this can feel overwhelming. Instead of facing problems directly, they may delay important decisions, blame other people, or wait for someone else to fix everything. Deep down, this behavior is often driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making the wrong choice. Ironically, avoiding responsibility doesn't reduce stress. It usually creates even more of it. Unfinished goals pile up. Relationships become strained. Confidence slowly disappears. Emotionally mature people understand something different. They know that mistakes are not proof of failure. They are opportunities to learn. Growth begins the moment we stop asking, "Whose fault is this?" and start asking, "What can I do next?" That simple shift in mindset changes everything. Emotional reactions that damage relationships. Every relationship is tested by disagreement. The question is not whether conflict happens. The real question is how we respond when it does. Emotionally immature people often react in predictable ways. Some explode with anger over small misunderstandings. Some become silent for days, expecting others to guess what's wrong. Others avoid difficult conversations altogether because they fear rejection or criticism. These reactions usually protect the ego for a short time, but they slowly damage trust. Healthy relationships are built on honest communication, empathy, and emotional responsibility. Being emotionally mature doesn't mean you never feel hurt. It means you can express your feelings without attacking someone else's character. Instead of saying, "You always ruin everything," a mature response sounds like, "I felt hurt when this happened, and I'd like us to understand each other." That small difference can completely change the direction of a conversation. In the next part, we'll explore the hidden emotional masks people wear, why perfectionism keeps many adults emotionally stuck, and how these invisible patterns quietly shape everyday life. The hidden masks we wear. Not everyone who is emotionally immature looks insecure. In fact, many people become experts at hiding their emotional struggles behind carefully constructed masks. Some wear the mask of confidence. They appear strong, successful, and independent. But deep inside, they constantly fear being judged or rejected. Others wear the mask of humor, turning every serious conversation into a joke because laughter feels safer than vulnerability. Then there are those who hide behind anger. To the outside world, they seem intimidating and fearless, but their anger often protects feelings of disappointment, loneliness, or emotional pain that they never learn to express. These masks don't develop overnight. They are usually built over many years as emotional defense mechanisms. At first, they help us survive difficult situations, but over time, they begin to separate us from our true selves and from the people who genuinely care about us. The strongest people are not those who never show emotion. They are the ones who have the courage to remove the mask and allow themselves to be seen as they truly are. The trap of perfectionism. Many people believe perfectionism is a sign of discipline or ambition. Psychology tells a different story. Sometimes perfectionism is simply fear wearing a different face. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of being criticized, the fear of not being good enough. Because of these fears, some people delay important decisions, avoid new opportunities, or never finish what they start. They keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves. But perfection is an illusion. Life is built through imperfect actions, small failures, and continuous learning. Emotionally mature people understand that progress matters more than perfection. They don't wait until they feel completely ready. They move forward despite uncertainty. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes experience. And every challenge becomes another step toward emotional growth. The first step toward emotional growth. The journey toward emotional maturity doesn't begin by changing other people. It begins by becoming honest with yourself. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Do I become defensive whenever someone gives me advice? Do I avoid difficult conversations because they make me uncomfortable? Do I blame circumstances more often than I accept responsibility? Self-awareness can feel uncomfortable because it forces us to face parts of ourselves that we'd rather ignore. But without awareness, change is impossible. Every emotionally mature person was once emotionally immature in some way. Growth happens when we stop protecting our ego and start educating our mind. The goal isn't to become perfect. The goal is to become a little wiser than we were yesterday. And in the final part of this video, we'll discover practical daily habits that help build emotional maturity, stronger relationships, and a healthier, more resilient mind.